Did it.
All right,
Well,
you ready?
Cam, I can say this has been a long time coming, my friend.
Yeah, it is for sure. All right, let's get into it.
Let's do it.
All right, Bulls, we are back. Well, not back. We're here for the first time here at the Fats Cats podcast, hosted
Episode
by Cam
one.
Taylor, with my best friend Ward Stool, former ex-college roommate. Ward, tell me how you're doing, brother.
Doing great, man. I know this has been I think we can both say this has been a long time coming. We've been doing this for what about 2019, 2018 now? It's just now we're actually recording it. So now we're gonna put, pen to or pay or pen to paper. Pen to well now it's more ink to computer screen, but we're here, man. We're here. Let's do it. I'm pumped.
Yep, I'm excited. Like Ward said, we've been doing this for a long time, just bullshitting, talking sports.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the experience we wanted to bring to the listeners, all two of you. I'm sure they'll listen to this. Hi, Mom. How are you doing? Um, we want this to be like me and Ward sitting on the couch talking shit
Yep.
to each other, talking sports, being
Talking
boys.
shit, talking sports. Exactly.
We're in no means experts. We don't have sources. We don't have this. We don't have that. We're two guys who love sports, and we're just talking back and forth is all. So, getting into it, Ward, I just kind of want you to go into one, how we met, your sports background, maybe your favorite teams, your favorite athletes, and then kind of what you would say you're quote unquote an expert in when it comes
A-
to sports.
Absolutely. So I will give Cam, I'm going to give you full recognition here. We're going to be calling this the Fat Cats podcast. That is originated by Mr. Cam Taylor. He came up with the name, came up with the logo, all that stuff. We're extremely excited. Like Cam said, for all two listeners, extremely excited. But I will introduce myself to everybody. So my name is Ward Sewell, and obviously this is my boy Cam. Cam's the host. I'm the co-host, working with him. Me and Cam went to school together. We were roommates at the Western Carolina University in Cullowhee, North Carolina. The real purple. That's what I'm talking about. The real purple and gold here in the state of North Carolina. But yeah, one thing I can promise our listeners is here soon. Me and Cam will be doing this in person rather than on the computer screen. We're about 200 miles from each other. Cam's in the Charlotte area, and I'm in the Raleigh area. So, we gotta revert towards our modern technology now of Zoom. But yeah, so me and Cam, actually, the funny story of when we met is we lived in the dorm right beside each other. We were lifting weights together one morning at about 6 a.m. and I saw this big guy walk in. I was like, damn, this dude might be pretty strong, man. I got to keep my P's and Q's up. So as soon as he walked in, I had to test him a little bit, hit him in the chest, like, what's up, man? Good to meet you. Like, you ready to get after it? But yeah, funny story about how I met Cam. And then for me and Cam too, we're both former collegiate athletes playing football. Cam played at Concord up in West Virginia, and then I played, well, kind of played. I played at Western Carolina. I didn't play. I was hurt the whole time, but came in part of the team. It was a good time. So we kind of know what we're talking about. Kind of don't. A lot of it's opinionated, but Cam, like, you run into it, man. Tell the listeners how we met. What I
Yeah,
missed.
man. So I walk into the gym at about the butt crack of dawn, just not happy to be alive that morning. And I see this little pipsqueak come up to me and tap me on the chest. I thought a mosquito bit me on the chest. Um, but little did I know that man would be one of my best friends for the next 4 years, and we'd get a house together during college and everything. So it worked out, man. We've been really good friends ever since, and I squatted a lot that day, and then just decided that I didn't want to do that anymore.
Is that
Um,
the last time you squatted? Junior year of
oh
college
yeah, for sure,
or the sophomore
100%.
year of college?
But talking about the name, man, it wasn't a hard process to come up with this name. I'm fat, and we went to Western Carolina, and there's a cat, so that's where you get the Fat Cats from, and
Fat
the
Cats podcast.
podcast.
I will say here
So
soon we are going to put this logo on some T-shirts, and they will be for sale for the general public. There might just be two of them. Me and Cam, we're going to rock it and get some advertising out there. But yeah, we're extremely. I know, like we've said, this is a long time coming. We're extremely excited for this, and I know, kind of going off a few injuries too, football injuries for any of our football listeners that know. You play football long enough, you're either going to have a hurt shoulder or a hurt knee. I think 90% of football players have a messed up shoulder or knee at some point. So, and me and Cam can both speak from experience from that. I got a bad shoulder. I'm 3 surgeries in, and then Cam, what, you're 2 or 3 surgeries into that knee?
I'm 3 surgeries in on 2 knees. So
Yeah. So
I'm
me and Cam have Cam has about $1 million 2 legs, and I have about a $600,000 shoulder. So we'll make it happen. Tell you that. But kind of going in, I will tell our listeners what our podcast specializes in. Kind of, and I will say I am going to have some personal opinions towards teams, and then unpersonal opinions towards other teams. So what we're going to be specializing in is football, and that is both collegiate and national or professional football. I don't know too much about the XFL yet. I'm going to have to look into that some more. But and then obviously basketball too, the big two, NBA and college. I know Cam will speak on this. Cam is a diehard Kentucky fan. Been a hard past couple years, but Cam's a big time Kentucky fan. I am personally an NC State fan in basketball. And then football, I didn't even say I'm an NC State football fan as well. And then Western Carolina, can't go wrong with them. We suck, but go Cats. And then for NFL, I am a Washington Redskins / Commanders fan. Cam, you actually be surprised. I've gotten pretty good at saying Commanders now. I've started to gear away towards Redskins, gotten used to the name. So
I know that was a tough transition.
very 3 names in
hell
2
to the
years,
football
man. It's
team.
rough. Hey, WFT forever. But yeah, what our podcast is going to specialize in is pretty much football, basketball. We're going to specialize in mixed martial arts as well. Me and Cam are both some pretty big MMA fans, UFC fans. So I'm excited, man.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna have some good conversation on here.
I'm excited as well. I will say, if you're looking for some talk about America's pastime, probably not the right place to come to. But I'm very excited. Like Ward said, I'll kind of echo it. College football, professional football, college basketball, and NBA. I'm a stats nerd. Any analytics, any advanced stat, I'm probably the guy to come to on that. If you want takes, I'm sure Wade will be your guy. I'm sure I'm going to have a bunch of takes that a lot of people don't necessarily agree with.
Hey, and
we're both very.
Check this out too. Speaking of sports stats, Cam, drop your TikTok at here in the.
Oh yeah.
Drop your tick. If you want to hear the 6,500 touchdown record, come talk to this guy right here. You want to talk about some advanced stats? Go look on Cam's TikTok. And I saw you went to basketball today. That's huge.
Yeah. Check out the TikTok. It's Bam Bam Cam T. It's nothing crazy. Just some guy that doesn't know much about anything, trying to guess the best player that has most touchdowns. But like Ward said, football, basketball, and fighting is really all we're kind of honed in on. But speaking of football, there's a big storyline out right now, Wade. And I want to hear what you have to say about this, because I was real high on this guy coming out of college, and I don't think you were. Trey Lance has been getting calls. The 49ers have been fielding calls about Trey Lance. First of all, I want to know, do you think Trey Lance gets traded, or is he going to be a 49er at the beginning of the football season?
Cam actually told you this. So 2 years ago, me and you I was a communications major in college, and I had to make podcasts for my class to graduate. Anyway, long story short, we BS some podcasts, and this one's going to be a lot better, I promise. But Cam and I did an NFL draft podcast. This was 2 years ago, and we were talking about our biggest booms and biggest bust of that draft. I'll have to go back and find that. I know my biggest bust was Trey Lance. And I'm personally it's hard. I think it is very, very, very hard in that 49ers offense to not be successful. Look at every quarterback they've had over the past couple of years. Jimmy G, I'm really curious to see how he does in Vegas, because you look at the athletes that he's been posed with in San Francisco. Christian McCaffrey, arguably the best running back in the NFL. Arguably, I know we'll do this later. And then you look at the wide receiver threats they have. You look at the tight end threats they have, or you look at the tight end they have, George Kittle. Look at their offensive line too. That's the thing, Cam, I know you can speak on this very highly. Offensive linemen don't get any credit. And what would you say? I think San Francisco, statistically, you'll have to fact check me on this. I think statistically this year they had the third highest graded offensive line in the NFL. It does. It helps when you have Trent Williams, probably the best tackle ever in NFL football there. Redskins screwed up with that one, but that's conversation for another day. But yeah, so kind of going up to answer your question longly, Cam, it's hard not to be successful in that offense. And Trey Lance has been okay. I mean, he hasn't done anything to separate. He has not been the third overall pick that San Francisco traded. What they trade? Was it 2 first rounders they traded for that?
Yeah, I believe
He
so.
has not been worth 2 first round picks to trade up to get number 3. I can tell you that. And it was that draft class. It was Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson. Was it or my that was the year?
No, that
What
yeah,
quarterback
yeah,
were
that
taken?
was you're right.
Okay.
That's the right class.
That's what I thought. So, I mean, Trevor Lawrence is the only one that's panned out. From Mac Jones, maybe he's still young, but I mean, Trey Lance hasn't been as successful in that offense, and it's very easy to be successful. I'm not saying easy. I'm not a quarterback, but I mean, Brock Purdy. At this time last year, if I asked you who Brock Purdy was, guess what you would have said? Who? Who? You would have
Mr.
no
Irrelevant,
idea.
baby.
Yeah, exactly. But Mr. Irrelevant, and he has come in, has established himself as QB1. So my hot take on the 49ers, if they don't get rid of Trey Lance now, because if they're planning on benching him, they have to get rid of him. And I know, Brock Purdy might not be, I'm not sure what the significance of his injury is, but if they don't get rid of him now, anything they want to get for him is going to be, they're going to get nothing for him. They might get a 7th round pick at this time next year. If they want to get anything pick wise for him right now, they have to trade him. I mean, do you agree with that?
I agree with that sentiment for sure. If you roll him out and he's a backup quarterback, you're not going to be able to get any draft capital for him.
No, exactly.
I don't think you're trading Trey Lance though, thinking that you're going to get those 2 picks back. I don't even really think you're trading them thinking you're going to get 1 pick back. So the question for me then would be, is it worth Brock Purdy not having a backup quarterback that's been in the system?
Yeah.
Brock Purdy, we don't know if he's going to be ready for the start of the season yet.
Yeah.
He's still rehabbing. It really just comes out to me, like, if you're willing to give up Trey Lance for a 2nd or 3rd round pick and still wait on Brock Purdy. And another thing, this, Taylor Heineke, he came in and was a world beater, and then you get film on a guy and a whole
love that guy.
Prepare for a guy, and then you don't know who you are. Devlin Hodges for the Steelers in a smaller sample size, same way. These guys don't have film, and they come in and they play well, and then you look up and, oh, that's the reason that guy was undrafted, or that's the reason that guy was Mr. Irrelevant. So I would not be trading Trey Lance because I don't think the compensation comes back
That's true.
to what you want in terms of draft capital.
And
to your point, I was just going to say, to your point of it being easy to be a quarterback for the 49ers, questions around that. If you can pick up an offensive playbook and you can read a defense, that is the easiest offense.
Oh my gosh, yes.
That is a big if, though, because I know as a Kentucky fan, Will Levis's OC this year was the former quarterback coach of the 49ers. And that offense was a nightmare for Will Levis to pick up on, and the rest of the Kentucky offense. Granted, these guys are college kids. They've got class. Their football is not their life yet, but it's a very, very difficult to pick up on.
Yeah. And I think, too, I know the big argument that a lot of 49ers fans are making for Trey Lance is right now he's still on a rookie deal. They're paying him nothing. I mean, what are they losing from waiting to see if? It's a big if. Is he going to plan out or not? And so that's a good argument, too. And but yeah, I don't know. I don't know what they do. I personally, if they plan on Brock Purdy being their guy and they are fully going to invest in Brock Purdy, they're going to have to get rid of Trey Lance. A absolute perfect example of this is what Washington just did. So Washington is putting all their everything on the Sam Howell right now. And see, the thing is, I love Taylor Heineke. He's my favorite player I've ever seen play for Washington since I've been a big fan since about 2010. But the thing is, and this is a perfect scenario too with the 49ers, is there's going to be fans if Trey Lance stays in San Francisco, there is going to be San Francisco fans Brock Purdy comes in and throws a pick. Fans are going to start calling for Trey Lance. What does that do to a quarterback's confidence? You're sitting there, as a QB, a newly established QB1, you come out and throw a pick, make one bad play, and the fans are already asking for another guy. I mean, your confidence goes completely to the ground. Do you agree with that?
I agree with that. An example I would use more so, and obviously neither one of these guys for the 49ers are as established as these guys, but I think a great example kind of going along with that is the Eagles. Carson Wentz had that job.
Yep.
Jalen Hurts comes in and shows promise, and next thing you know, everybody wants Jalen Hurts to be the quarterback. They push Carson Wentz. They made the right decision. Now, we'll see if
Carson Wentz,
history repeats itself. And
best of luck to him, but hate that guy.
But kind of moving on from Trey Lance, I think we're kind of split there. I would keep him. It sounds like you would trade him, but
no, you brought up the Eagles. I want to hear what you have to say about this too. So you brought up the Eagles in regards to, they just paid Jalen Hurts. Okay.
Yep.
What happened right after they paid Carson Wentz? I'm not trying to put bad juju on the Eagles fans, but what do you think about that contract that Jalen Hurts got?
I think it's well deserved. I'm always kind of, scared to give a quote unquote running quarterback.
Yep.
Now he does it in a different way. He's running on the sidelines. He's running read options. He's not getting hit a lot, but I've seen too many guys get paid, i.e. Cam Newton,
I mean, look at this statistic. Highest paid quarterback in the history of National Football League. Ever. Highest paid quarterback ever.
And with that being said, you can make an argument that man outplayed Patrick Mahomes on the biggest stage in the NFL in the Super Bowl.
Yep. Yeah. That's for another time. We'd have to dive into that.
Yeah,
but, there is an argument there.
I have no problem with them paying him if they feel comfortable with his health and everything. He's not Lamar Jackson. He doesn't live, and die by throwing the ball over the middle of the field and running read options, but it is a part of his game and a very substantial part of his game. Now, was I having the same conversation with Josh Allen? I was, because that dude's running quarterback power. Yeah. I would be scared to death to give my highest paid quarterback in NFL history the ball and that paycheck if he's running 20 times a game. That's just me. If the production comes, if they win a Super Bowl, it's worth it, of course. And I look like an idiot because I'm talking about this guy who's going to get hurt.
I know. So I know Cam Newton was bad, or as soon as he was a running quarterback, and then the Panthers paid Cam Newton and wanted him to just be a pocket passer. Do you think the Eagles are going to try to turn that, since, Jalen Hurts obviously just got paid, and good for him, good for the boy Jalen, good for that man, he got paid. But my question is, do you think they're going to try to alter his playing style since they paid him that big bag?
I don't think so, and the reason I say that is, one, because of the rule changes in the NFL to protect the quarterback.
That is a great point, man. Yes.
And two, I think so much of that offense is predicated around RPOs and play action, and running the football. They're the number one running football team in the NFL. They've got a great O-line, and they've got a great weapon outside. I don't think that the play style changes as much, just because, like I said, he's not Lamar Jackson. They're not running zone read 40 times a game.
Yep.
He's going to, make plays outside of the pocket. They're going to run some zone read, but as much RPO as they run, he has the option to hand it off or throw it and then run is the third option.
Yep.
I don't see them changing their offense that much for that reason.
Did you see the signing bonus he got too? So the way his deal was structured is kind of interesting. The first year he makes $6 million. Second year it's like $12 million, and then the third and the fourth year is when he makes the most. But the third year is like 28, and then the fourth is like, don't quote me on this, but it's like 36 or something like that. And then the way they set it up is they gave him a $25 million signing bonus, which is insane. Imagine waking up tomorrow. Imagine signing a piece of paper. Imagine signing a letter of intent. Obviously, it's a lot different. Waking up tomorrow morning and having $25 million in your bank account.
Yeah. So to your point, it's a 5-year, $255 million deal with $179.3 million.
Good for him, though, man.
Great for him.
I love
One
his
of the,
story.
that's what I was about to say. Talk about one of the greatest stories in sports.
Yeah.
Goes to Alabama, wins the starting job, loses the job in the national championship, sticks around the next year, doesn't cause any drama, goes to Oklahoma, puts on a show, and then he's a third-round draft pick. I believe third round, second or third
He
round
was
draft
he
pick.
was a second
And
round. I think it was like the first pick in the second round or something like that.
yep, yep. And Combs has to sit behind Carson Wentz, goes and wins a starting job, and now he's the highest paid quarterback in NFL history. That
Good
is
for him,
awesome.
dude. It's crazy, man. It's crazy to think about, but good. He got paid. He deserves it. I know out of a lot of people that don't deserve to get paid, that man does. But I know, kind of jump into another NFL topic. I want to hear you. I know, so Damar Hamlin, kind of going on that. He just got cleared for full contact. He got cleared to return to the Buffalo Bills. Good for him. That story. I mean, it's a complete whole other podcast we can do on it. I mean, it's the good Lord above works in very, very, very mysterious ways. And, Damar Hamlin, it's honestly, it's great he's here. Something very bad. I mean, something very bad did happen to him. Does it scare you that he's cleared to play 4 months after all that stuff happened?
Yes. I don't want to undermine a doctor. Obviously, I'm not a doctor. But to me, if I was in that position and I was could have died playing football, I know a lot of guys, like I know I've said it, like I'll die on this football field. Like this is the way I
A lot
want.
easier said than done.
When it comes to it, it can be different. If I was Damar Hamlin, there's no way I would even come close to touching a football field with pads on. Maybe coaching, maybe
Yeah.
motivational speaking. There's no way I would touch a football field
And
again.
I think for him too is just because I know he started this huge charity foundation. His name, I mean, his jersey sales are still in the. I'm not. I don't have the stats pulled up, but I know his jersey sales are still up there. It has to be top 10 in the league still. And I mean, even if he never plays another down of football, I think Damar Hamlin and Damar Hamlin's family is set for life from the National Football League. I think they will.
Another point.
Go ahead.
I will say, I can see the reason he would want to play again because nobody wants to be known as the guy who
That's true.
played out on the field like that. I think there is a possibility create a different legacy. I would just be so scared personally, or if it was a family member or a friend to
I know, dude.
watch football with that happening. But more power to him. I wish nothing but the best for that guy. Nobody probably in that league has been through more trials and tribulations than him. So all the best to him. I want him to do what he wants to do and be safe with it. We're kind of talking about Hurts.
Where did he go to college? Where did DeMar get?
I believe Maryland.
Maryland, that's it. Maryland. Is it Maryland? I think it is. Or was it a Florida? No, it's an ACC school, I believe. It's not Florida. Hold up. Look it up. Do you have your computer? Yeah.
What school he went to?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, see where he went to college.
I believe he went to Maryland.
I might be drawing a blank. No, it's Pittsburgh. He went to Pittsburgh. That's it. Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
That's Pittsburgh. I knew it was an ACC school. I can't remember what school it was. But yeah, sorry to jump off topic there. I was just curious.
Oh no, you're good.
Yeah.
But on the top now no.
Yeah, were you ready to hear my this is my wild take. I know every podcast I'm gonna have one very, very wild take. And this is my wild take here. So I'm just gonna leave it all on the table. That man, I'm gonna do it first. That man, Dylan Brooks from the Memphis Grizzlies, Hemi Neutron, Himothy, that guy. And you hear me out. Hear me out when I say this. So LeBron James last night had 28 points, I believe. Played great. I personally think LeBron's the greatest of all time. Played great. Did you look at the stats of how he did when Dylan Brooks was guarding him? I think it was 4 for 11 with 12 points. I want to say something like that. 2 turnovers. I don't know. I don't have the stats pulled up. I saw it on ESPN this morning. And listen to why I like Dylan Brooks so much. People buy tickets to go see people they love, right? Say LeBron James comes to town. People are going to, I'm not comparing Dylan Brooks to LeBron James in any way. I'm just saying a lot of people love LeBron. People are going to pay to go see him play. People also are going to pay to see people they do not like. I mean, at the end of the day, Dylan Brooks, you love him or you hate him, he's putting butts in seats. And the thing is, the NBA is better when there's a heel. When there's a villain in the league, it makes people want to watch. You look at some of the great heels in the NBA history. Reggie Miller, huge heel. People hated him. The bad boys from the Detroit Pistons, people hated him. I know, speaking more of our era, there hasn't been too many heels. A lot of people didn't like Kevin Garnett back when we were kids. That's what, we were young when Kevin Garnett played. And I'd say now, I'd say or the past 5 years, the biggest modern day heel has been Draymond Green. And I know that's arguable. A lot of people don't like Draymond. But I mean, look at Dylan Brooks now, what he's done this year. I didn't know who he was until I started seeing all these videos of him doing this and him doing this. You gotta love it, man. I mean, the Memphis Grizzlies are like they're like the bad boys. They're like they listen to NBA YoungBoy before games. They're on that young boy stuff. What do you think about that, man? What do you think about Dylan Brooks?
Um, should same. If anybody is wondering, Ward's favorite Ghost Fighters that explain Brooks. I think Dylan Brooks is the old guy. I think he's top tier player, and a player who talks about the same strategy.
Hey, your audio's cutting out real bad back and forth ever since the beginning of this Dylan Brooks statement. See if that yeah, I can hear you good now.
Yeah. I was just saying, me is great glue guy, their top tier role player. So I think me, he's on the same career Patrick Beverley is.
Patrick Beverley is a huge heel. I forgot him. Good point.
Plays defense, but he's a winning game for you. Me, make you a 8 seed championship contender. Not many guys like players like their players. That's all it is to me. And Steven Dylan Brooks would be punching down. Dylan Brooks is he 38-year-old spear. And again, role players like their stars. It's ultimate, personally.
Yeah, I know, Cam. See, I'm gonna get into this next segment. See if are you connected to your AirPods or your mic right now? It was your audio was jumping a little bit back and forth, but yeah, while you're working on that, while you're looking at that, I want to get in to our next segment, and it's still in the NBA wave, but we're in the midst of the NBA playoffs right now, and there's some huge games tonight. Obviously, last night the Grizzlies beat the Lakers, took Game 2, 1-1, going back to LA. But there's some big games tonight. The Sixers and the Nets play. I think the Sixers should take this in 4. But another a big take I have, Cam, and I want to hear what you say about this. And it's in regards to the 76ers head coach, Doc Rivers. Doc Rivers is a great coach. He's a GOAT. Or not a GOAT. He's a great coach. He is a Hall of Famer. That's what I meant to say. I think Doc Rivers is arguable. I think he's obviously going to be in the Hall of Fame. But I will say this. If the Sixers do not make a far run in the East this year, and when I say far run, if they do not at least go to the Eastern Conference Finals, I think Doc Rivers is gone. You look at the talent the Sixers have. They have James Harden. James Harden is arguably, he was at one point arguably a number 1 player in the NBA. Now he's getting older. He's arguably a top 5 player. They have the best big man in basketball right now, the MVP of the league, Joel Embiid. I'm not sure if they've announced him or MVP. His odds are like -1, -1,000 to win. So, I mean, with the talent they have, and they also have that young dude from Kentucky too. What's his name?
Yep, Tyrese Maxey.
Yes, they have him. I mean, they have the talent, man. So, and I don't know. What do you think?
Well, first, is my audio any better?
Perfect. You're listening
Okay.
right now.
Um, Doc Rivers is interesting to me. Um, I don't think we look at Doc Rivers as the clear cut, Hall of Fame coach, if not for the championship in Boston.
Mhm.
Um, I think he got gifted like a generational team and only won one championship with them. Um,
He only won one in Boston. I thought
yep,
he won two. I thought he had two
yep.
rings.
They only won one in Boston with four Hall of Famers in their starting lineup. Um, which
I didn't know that.
a ring is a ring, but I think that would be considered an underperformance to me when you
Yeah,
have prime
yeah.
KG.
With that talent, absolutely.
Yeah. I don't want to go off as far as to say that he would be fired. I definitely think if you're management of the 76ers, you have to take a long look in the mirror. If he were to lose, let's put that caveat. If they make a deep run, I think he's safe. I think he's good.
Yeah.
Um, but you've got to
And
look at
when you
his
say deep
history.
run, how far of a run do you mean? Is that Eastern Conference Finals or is
Yeah,
that just
yeah.
beating the Nets?
No, they have to make an Eastern Conference Finals run. They have to make it competitive with
Yeah.
the Bucks or the Celtics, whoever they play.
They're
It's
gonna
got to
have to
go.
beat the Bucks or the Celtics pretty much
Yep,
if he's gonna keep his job. Okay,
I
that's
agree.
what I figured, but good
Um,
luck.
you've got you've got to look at his track record too. I mean, like Ty Lue, if we're being honest, has done a better job coaching the Clippers than he did with the same
Do
players.
you think this team he has right now with the 76ers is better than that team he had with the Clippers when it was Chris Paul, Blake Griffin, drawing blanks now, Lob City.
Yeah,
You know who I'm talking
yeah,
about. You think
yeah.
this team he has is better than that Lob City team?
I think 1,000% personally.
I
The
do
Lob
too.
City team to me was very flawed. I think it was a fun team, and this is obviously a topic for another day. I think it was a very flawed team, very flawed roster with two big names and a center who dunked the ball a lot. This team to me is missing something, and it's between two players to me. Joel's going to be Joel, and he's getting double teamed every time he touches the ball in this Brooklyn series, and he can make plays out of the post
Yeah.
and out of double teams, which is awesome. Well, James Harden has converted from a 30, 10, and 10 guy, 38 and 8 guy, um, to now he's a 24 and 12 guy. He's a true point guard now. Um, and that is not what this team needs right now.
Yeah.
They need a guy as a number two who can go out and put up 40 points. Can Maxey turn into that guy one day? I think yes. Will this be a series where or a playoff run where he can grow into that role? I think yes. We just have to see it.
I have to see.
James Harden is no longer that guy that can just go out and get you 40 if you need it, if your star's not playing well. Tobias Harris, fourth option. There's no better fourth option in the NBA than
Yeah.
Tobias Harris.
Yeah. Yeah.
The problem with Tobias Harris is he's going to get you 20. When you need him to get you 20, he's going to get you 20. When you need him to get you 10, he's going to get you 20.
Yeah.
But when you need him to get you 30 or
He's gonna
35,
get you
he's
20.
going to get you 20. So to me, there's a big problem with their roles. Obviously, Joel's the guy, but the role between 2 and 3 is a problem for me. Um, especially with James's new kind of approach to the game of being more of a true point guard.
Yep. I think that was about as well said as it could be. But
Getting
yeah,
into the next game,
you think the Sixers sweep the Nets or not?
I think they do.
I think they should. The Nets
I love
stink.
I love Mikal Bridges. I think he's an awesome ball player.
Hey, the Hornets, man. He used to be a Charlotte Hornet.
Wrong guy.
I am. Which
Mikal
one?
is from the
Miles Bridges is on the
yeah
Hornets.
yeah
Okay. Yep. My bad.
yeah.
Sorry,
No,
listeners.
you're good.
Don't
You're
listen.
good.
And I know
Mikal,
this is
I
our
like.
first podcast too. I will do that a lot. I get names mixed up. Cam's heard me do it for about 4 years now. So yeah, you know who I mean, man. Potato.
Yeah, I do like the Nets team, kind of their future. I don't think Mikal Bridges is a franchise player by any means, but he could surprise me. I like that team. I still think they get swept.
Yeah.
Next game on the calendar is Sacramento and the Warriors.
Woo! That boy
Game
De'Aaron
3.
Fox, man, that boy's cooking. Hey,
Swipe up.
Sacramento has that dog in them, man. They've never been in the playoffs. They go and then the defending NBA champions 2-0 at home, start out 2-0 against them. And then, they're
Yep.
talking their shit too, man. That De'Aaron Fox is talking his shit. I love it. And the fans, did you see the video of Draymond talking shit to the fans? The fans were flicking him off and all that. You got to love that, man. It's just like that trash talk element about sports. It makes people want to watch. I mean, it brings in attention. But I know going off that, and it is insane to me. I don't know how, I don't follow NBA too hard. I watch the highlights and stuff. But I know the splits, and Cam, if you can pull this up to fact check me, I think that the
Warriors.
Warriors have their home record and away record. It's insane. I think they've lost I want to say they've won 90% of their games at home, and then they've lost 90% of their games on the road. I mean, it's complete opposite. They win at home, they lose on the road.
So they were 33-8 at home during the regular season and 11-30 on the road.
I mean, look at that, dude. That is insane. That isn't, I mean, so pretty much, I mean, how? I don't get, I mean, I know teams don't play as hard in the regular season. And obviously, Golden State, they've all been together the big three's been there for 6 years now. They've won, what have they won? 4 out of the last 6, 4 out of the last 7? I think it's 4 out of the last 6, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah. Well, anyway, these guys, they know how to play together. So I guess they don't on the road. They're just waiting to turn up the heat. But it's not showing in the regular season. My honest opinion about this series, it's going to 7. Maybe it's going to go deep into the series. I don't know. I personally don't think the Warriors were honestly my pick to make a deep run this year, just because you look at their team, you look at their history in the past 5-6 years. I don't know, man. Especially, I think it's going to hurt too. Draymond suspended game 3. Draymond, I didn't see the whole video. I know he came down and kind of kicked that guy or something. Did he get ejected for that?
Yeah, he got a flagrant 2 for that.
That's what I thought. Okay, so that might hurt them. If they go and drop a game, if they drop 3-0 in this series, has anybody ever come back from 3-0?
I do not believe so, no.
Hard to beat a team 4 times in a row, man, especially after losing 3 in a row. But hey, that's
my take on this series is kind of I would say it's kind of simple. Sacramento's beating the Warriors and Draymond at their own game.
Yeah.
How many years in a row have we seen Draymond flip and flop and hit dudes when the refs aren't looking?
Oh yeah.
Get guys kicked out of games. Get texts on people. Sabonis is doing it to him. He's roughing him up in the paint, and then when Draymond hits him, he's flopping like a little girl. He's getting him kicked out of the game.
Right,
the Warriors have been doing this for years, and people loved it. And now the poor little Kings are doing it to the champs, and people aren't liking it.
Hey, speaking of heels, man, what did my boy Dylan Brooks say last night after he beat LeBron? He said, "I'll respect that old man when he drops 40."
Yep.
Hey, the heels, man, they put butts in seats.
Sacramento, I've been calling them the Sack Cats. They've got De'Aaron Fox, Malik Monk, and Trey Lyles.
Not the Fat Cats, the Sack Cats. I like it.
The Sack Cats. A series doesn't start till a road team wins a game.
You're right.
Like you said, if the Kings go into Oakland and if they get a game, goodness gracious, I don't even know I can't even fathom that in my head. If Sacramento goes and takes 1 out of 2 or 2 out of, if they sweep the Warriors, I don't care if it's a 3-6 game. If they sweep the Warriors, that's got to be one of the biggest upsets.
Dude. Sacramento wins tonight. They do beat. I don't know about a sweep, but Sacramento wins tonight. They're beating the Warriors.
Yeah.
But what do you think about what do you think about Suns Clippers?
That is one of the more interesting series.
It is, man. And my take on it, I watched game 1. I didn't watch game 2. Dude, Kawhi is playing like Kawhi, man. He's playing like early Toronto Kawhi. He's playing like late Spurs Kawhi. He's locked in, man. He's playing great. Paul George is playing good. It's going to be interesting.
That's that's one thing about load management that can kind of go by the wayside. Like where people forgot how good Kawhi Leonard is a
Oh, I
basketball
know,
player.
man. I mean, he is a defensive guru, and I mean,
And
both sides of the ball. He's great, man.
he's got and this isn't like a shot, this is a compliment. He's got the old man game,
He
man. He
does.
locks you up on
Old head. He's an old
defense.
head.
Yeah, he takes that mid-range jump shot religiously, just like his counterpart Kevin Durant does.
Hey, do his laugh
Um,
for me real quick.
ah, ha, 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 ha. He's a fun guy, man. What can you say? He got paid.
Yeah.
That matchup, KD Kawhi, is if you like basketball at its purest form, that is the matchup to watch.
Oh yeah.
Those guys go at it. KD struggled at the beginning of the game, kind of got his rhythm in game two. That mid-range jump shot is butter, man.
Oh
There's
yeah.
no mid-range jump. 7 foot guard just pulling up on your head. I mean, there's nothing you can do.
My
Kawhi is unstoppable.
Oh, I know. And my take is with that too, KD and Devin Booker, Chris Paul, he hasn't played with these guys, man. The chemistry's
Yeah.
not there. And I mean, that's it. You can't just develop chemistry. That comes over time. You can't force that. These guys, the Clippers know how to play together. They've been there a few years. I'm sorry, Kawhi and Paul George, they've been together 2 years, right?
I think this is their 4th season together.
Is it their fourth? Okay. I didn't know if it was their third. Okay. So those guys know how to play together. And I don't know, man. I think that one's going to be an interesting one, too. I think that one can make a deep run. And I mean, Russell Westbrook's there, too. I know, obviously, he's not the same player as he used to be. That dude, you look at him 5 years ago, I mean, you look at what he used to be. I mean, he was one of the best players in the NBA. But
That
I don't know, man. I am very interested. I don't watch NBA regular season. I watch more college, but playoff NBA basketball, I mean, you can't beat it.
there's one thing I want to touch on that you brought up, and that's the chemistry between KD and these guys. If you watched game one, the last possession that the Suns had, Devin Booker got the ball and like looked at KD like he needed permission to go take the shot. He
No.
looks at KD.
KD is
KD kind of
already
like,
coming.
yeah,
No.
KD like points like go shoot the ball. What are you doing? And I cannot state enough how important Russell Westbrook has been in this series.
I didn't know
Game
that.
one, he shot 3 for 13 and made the biggest defensive impact on the court besides Kawhi. Last game, he had 28, I believe, 26 or 28. They ended up losing, obviously, but I said before the series, for the Clippers to have a chance, Russell Westbrook has to be the Russell Westbrook of old, and so far he's been that. Like, you're not you're not thinking Russell
He's
Westbrook's going to
playing
go
good,
hit open
man.
shots,
He's playing great. You're right.
and you know it's a big if, but if this team makes it to the second round and you add Paul George back to this rotation, as good as Kawhi and Russell look, that's not a team you want to play in the second round. I promise you that if you're the Denver Nuggets.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You're right.
Um, did
It's
you
going to
have
be.
a point? Did you have a point on Paul George? Were you telling me that earlier, or am I misthinking?
I can't remember. I was saying something. I can't
Okay,
remember what I was saying.
but
No,
yeah,
it's going to
man,
be interesting, man. It's going to be an interesting. It's going to be an interesting wrap too. And I know, speaking of playoffs, so last night, Cam, I know you saw this on Snapchat. I don't know if anybody has ever watched playoff hockey before. It is insane. Hockey is just one sport already to go to. It's so fast paced. It's people hitting each other left and right. Playoff hockey is something different. Last night, I went to Game 2 of the Carolina Hurricanes versus New York Islanders game. I live 20 minutes from the Hurricane Stadium. I have my stepdad has season tickets, so I'll go every so often when I get invited. But we went last night, man. It was insane. I mean, there was 17,000 people in there. It looked like a game at Heinz Field. Everybody had towels. They gave all the fans towels. People were waving these things. I mean, these guys were fighting last night. There was 2 or 3 fights during the game. I mean, they're hitting left and right. That hockey atmosphere, it was so much fun. Cam, you'll have to come
I
down when you come down when we do the live podcast. You'll have to come down and we'll go to a hockey game.
that would be nice. The only hockey game I've ever been to is I went to a Checkers game in
Okay,
Bojangles Coliseum. Uh, I'm gonna assume not the same level of hockey. But yeah, I had a moment this weekend. We're kind of off topic, but I just wanted to share this because it just came to my mind. I had 2 moments this weekend where I was like, "Damn, I'm getting old." And the first one was on Monday. On Saturday, I scheduled an appointment for Monday to do my taxes.
Oh, okay.
And the second one is I was watching Michigan State's spring game, which what a nerd. I don't even like Michigan State, and I'm watching their spring game. Antonio Gates Jr. scored a touchdown in the Michigan State spring
No.
game. How old does that make you feel?
Oh my God. I didn't know that.
Yeah, you've got him. You've got Frank Gore's son is playing college football right now. That is insane to me.
Well, holy crap. Holy shit. I didn't know that. I knew his son. I didn't know Antonio Gates was son. Holy crap.
Yes,
We are getting
and
old. Well, Frank Gore is like 50. He played in the league till
yeah,
he's like 48, but
but kind of speaking of sons from the NFL, man, Arch Manning stinks. He stinks,
he's worse than NC State's quarterback, and State's quarterback sucks.
dude. I said this throughout the recruiting cycle, probably not as loudly as I am now, kind of quietly, but if this kid's last name was not Manning, if this kid's name was Adam Smith, he would have been a 3-star recruit.
You think he'd be at
He
Western?
played, dude. He played against the school of the deaf and the blind when he
He
was in high
did, man.
school.
Yeah.
Those kids
I
looked
saw
like me, but 5'5".
I saw a couple videos of him. I mean, just making throws, and he looked awful. I honestly thought, like, I thought he was really good in high school. I watched some of his highlights. I thought he was going to come in there and get that Quinn Ewers. Is that how you pronounce his name? Dude
Yep.
with the mullet. I like that guy, by the way. I thought he was going to come in there and give him a run for his money. I think he's not even going to be the second string. He's going to be the third string. He is still
Um,
young though. He's an 18-year-old kid, He still has time to develop. But yeah, I think a lot of it has to do with his last name. If he had the last name Taylor or Sewell, he's not a $1 million recruit, I can tell you that.
yeah, and you know, like you said, he's young. It's a spring game.
Yeah,
That the O line that he was playing with looked horrible.
they did. Texas
But
Texas needs some work, especially if they get in the SEC. Ooh.
I'll tell you what. Speaking of that, I'll get back to my point. It's gonna be a rude awakening for them boys when they're playing the SEC. When the Big 12 refs don't cater to them and horns down isn't a 15-yard penalty anymore, it's gonna be a rude awakening.
What does Texas? Do you know who they play big this year? Do they have a big game starting out or not? Like, do they open up?
I'm not
I
for
don't know
sure,
who
to
they
be
play.
honest with
I
you.
don't know if I told you this or not. NC State opens up in Carter Finley against Notre Dame this year. That's gonna be a
Yep,
big game. It's an
that'll be
8
awesome.
game. That's gonna be a big one. But yeah,
Like I was saying though, I do want to get this out. Arch Manning is young. There's not many freshmen that are going to walk into Texas and become the starting quarterback. But the expectations that were put on this kid and the talk that was put on this kid, like it makes you kind of sit and wonder, like who's watching this guy? Because
I just hope they don't feed him to the wolves right away. I hope they let him develop a little bit.
after the spring game, you can't feed him to
Oh
the
yeah,
wolves because you'll go 0-12. I promise you. Um, But kind of wrapping it up here, I know next episode we kind of want to do a draft preview.
yeah.
I know that
When is the draft? It's the
next Thursday, I believe.
Okay, yeah, we'll definitely that would be perfect. We'll hop into the draft stuff next episode. Well, Cam,
I
episode
know
1, man. How do you think it? How do you think? What do
I
you think?
liked it, man. I think we've got some hiccups to take care of. I would love to do this in person whenever
Yeah,
we get a chance, but
yeah.
I know I had some audio issues on the front end there, so we'll
We'll
get
get
those
that
figured
figured
out.
out. But yeah,
But
go ahead, Cam.
nobody's first podcast is ever good. I promise you
That's
that.
true. Hey,
So we'll get it figured out here.
you ever watch Joe Rogan's first podcast? Yep. Nope. Me neither. Never heard of it. You ever watch these big time, like the Barstool, big time Barstool Sports first podcast? Yep. Nobody has. Hey, we're getting there. You work with us. We're going to work with y'all. We're working our butts off here. We're going to keep providing good content. I just want to say thank you guys for listening to our listeners out there all around the world, all around North Carolina, maybe just a couple people in Raleigh and Charlotte. But we're extremely excited about this opportunity, and we're going to be working for y'all. So, but yeah, next week.
Ward, I want you to tell the people where they can find you on socials, YouTube, all that stuff.
Absolutely. So my Instagram is Ward Sewell 45. My Snapchat, or I'm sorry, not my Instagram Ward Sewell 45. My YouTube is also, you look in Ward Sewell, and we're gonna make a Fat Cats podcast YouTube link, and we're gonna drop all that in the description as well in all of our posts too, so you can check us out there. We're gonna be dropping some clips. We're going to end up making we haven't done this yet. We're going to make social media pages, all that stuff. We're extremely excited, as you can't tell. We're invested into this. So, but Cam, you tell them the same thing. Where can our listeners find you at?
So Instagram and Twitter, I'm at BamBamCam55. That's with a C, not a K. TikTok, I'm BamBamCamT.
Make sure you drop it. They can check out the real stats.
But we're extremely excited to bring this podcast to you guys. Like I said, even if it's only 2 people and if it's our mom,
make it happen.
To this.
And another thing too, Cam, I wanted to add, we will be having guests too. So I know, in the next couple weeks, I know a guy, he's a former college basketball player. He has a great underdog story. He's going to be hopping on with us. So it's not just going to be me and Cam rambling the whole time. We will have guests, we're going to have different points of views of things. We're excited. This is here to stay. It's a great opportunity for me and Cam. We live across the state. We don't get to see each other much. It's a great opportunity for us to catch up, but we're extremely excited.
Well, with that being said, I don't think there's any better way to sign off. That was episode 1 of the Fat Katz podcast. We hope that you guys tune in next week. We'll have some more draft stuff coming your way, but thank you to all our listeners.
Thank you, guys.
Fat Katz out, baby.
Fat Katz out. Cam, hell of a podcast, brother.
Let's go.